The Flash movie from 2023 was disrespectful. First of all, it was disrespectful to Henry Cavill, since this movie was technically the last appearance of his Superman in the DCEU. After teasing his return as Superman in the Black Adam movie the previous year, and then quickly announcing that they were actually recasting Superman for James Gunn's new DCU, the least that the studio could have done is invite him to come back properly in this movie as his last appearance. Instead, what they did was have Superman be occupied elsewhere during the opening action sequence where we only see him from behind and do not get to see Henry in the role. Then later in the movie, while the Flash is in the weird Speed Force Chrono Bowl, we see a terrible looking CGI model of Henry Cavill as Superman. This movie was also disrespectful to all the other actors and actresses whose characters they showed in that scene. The movie used bad CGI and AI deepfakes to bring all of those characters back on screen in this movie, whether the actors were alive or had passed away, and they all looked absolutely terrible. Especially George Reeves, who notably had a very hard time finding work after his portrayal of Superman in the 1950s. This sadly led to his suicide, so adding his character and his image through CGI into the movie was a very disrespectful choice. Bringing Christopher Reeve's Superman back with CGI was a horrible decision since it looked so bad in the movie and was absolutely disrespectful to the legacy that he left behind with his iconic portrayal. Doing the same thing with Helen Slater's Supergirl was also a terrible decision since she is still alive and they could have asked her to come back in the role in this scene without using CGI or AI deepfakes. The person that the studio did ask to appear in a cameo in this movie was Nicolas Cage, also as Superman. Cage has since spoken about his time in the movie and has said that the scene was supposed to be his version of Kal-El standing and watching the multiverse be destroyed with a horrified look on his face, and that was what they shot. That would have been a great scene. Instead, they disrespected him and his Superman by completely using bad CGI to have him fighting a giant spider and making his face look rubbery and almost unrecognizable. They had Nicolas Cage already on set and had him film a great short scene, yet they still chose to just completely wipe that out and replace it with yet another bad looking CGI cameo. Another actor that they absolutely disrespected by not asking him to be in this movie was Grant Gustin. Grant amazingly played the Flash in the CW show for 9 seasons and helped make the character so much more popular. There is even a scene in the show where Ezra Miller makes a cameo and talks to Grant's Barry Allen. In this scene, Ezra Miller's Barry gets the idea of calling himself the Flash after Grant mentions it. So for the movie, it would have been great to have Grant make a cameo as his version of the Flash, having it be an amazing full circle moment. The cameo multiverse scene should have had real actors portraying their iconic characters on screen. It would have looked infinitely better than what we got, and the creators of the movie would not have had to use CGI and AI deepfakes, resulting in it looking as bad as it did in the final cut of the movie. Finally, this movie is extremely disrespectful to the character of Batman, the Ben Affleck Batman specifically. Near the beginning of the movie, after Batman, the Flash, and Wonder Woman stop the robbers in the film and save the day, Batman's hand gets wrapped up in the lasso of truth. This causes him to start spewing his inner thoughts and what he thinks about himself. He says things like how he has a big ego, how he only developed the Batman persona as a way to deal with the trauma from his childhood, and how if he really wanted to help Gotham, he would be better off giving all of his money away and trying to end poverty. This completely goes against Batman as a character and does not line up with how he is in the comics or how Ben Affleck's Batman is in these previous movies we have seen him in. It just felt like a cheap joke for the sake of the movie trying to be funny, but it not only isn't funny, but fully disrespects the character of Ben Affleck's Batman. In the comics, and seemingly in these previous movies, Bruce Wayne uses his money for good. He spends his fortune improving Gotham's infrastructure and tries to make Gotham a better place during the day, along with fighting crime as Batman during the night. Bruce believes that he truly is Batman, and that Bruce Wayne is actually the mask he puts on every day. For this Batman to say that deep down he actually thinks that giving all of his money away would be better for Gotham, then the whole point of him being Batman goes down the drain. The way that this movie and the creators behind it so carelessly disrespect people in real life, and how the movie disrespects its own characters, is the main reason that I dislike it so much. I hope that the next movie that The Flash is in for James Gunn's new DCU is much better than this. I hope that the creators don't disrespect their own characters and people in real life like this movie did. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video.